This episode of the A.T.TIPSCAST is sponsored by TextHelp, provider of the award-winning literacy solution Read and Write Gold. Is your child or student struggling with reading and writing? Read and Write Gold from TextHelp can help. Read and Write Gold's text-to-speech software is for individuals with reading or writing difficulties, those with learning disabilities such as dyslexia, and English language learners. Its customizable toolbar integrates with common applications and provides support tools for reading, writing, studying, and research. With Read and Write Gold, students of all ages can get the support they need at school, home, work, and now even in the cloud. The TextHelp web apps allow users to access their favorite read and write features in the cloud, anywhere, anytime. To learn how Read and Write Gold can help your struggling student, visit texthelp.com or call 1-888-248-0652. That's 1-888-248-0652. And as a special offer from now until May 31st, 2013, you can receive 10% off any online order of Read and Write Gold by entering the code A.T.TIPS 13 save 10 upon checkout. That's A.T.TIPS, the numeral 13, save the numeral 10. Order your copy today.
Theorizing that one could make an interactive whiteboard more accessible to students with visual impairments within his own lifetime, assistive technology trainer Christopher Bouguet stepped into the Quantum Screen Leap Accelerator and vanished. He woke up to find himself trapped, facing mirror images of what was projected on the board on mobile computing devices, and driven by an unknown force to explore and investigate the implementation of assistive technology in public schools. His only guide on this journey is A.T.TIPSCAST episode 113, which is what you are about to hear. And so, Mr. Bouguet finds himself leaping from screen to screen, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next screen leap will be the screen leap home.
Who remembers the television show Quantum Leap? I used to watch the adventures of Dr. Sam Beckett as he leapt from person to person throughout history back when I was in college. The premise of the show was that a scientist figured out how to time travel, but when he went back in time, he appeared in the body of another person, and he would only leap out of that person once he had steered that person's destiny back in a positive direction. In a nutshell, the plot of most episodes involves someone having a problem and Dr. Beckett helping to solve that problem. Sound familiar? It sounds like people working in assistive technology do every day. For the longest time, I've been working with a student with a visual impairment. Since 4th and 5th grade, she's been using a magnifying camera hooked to a monitor in order to see items at a distance, specifically items on the board. She also used magnifying software to access any information she needed on computers. Let's leap forward a few years to present day, where our student is a senior in high school looking to go on to college next year. Our district has moved away from using chalk and dry erase boards in favor of using interactive whiteboards. After experiencing the Magnifier built into Windows 7, she felt like she didn't need the specialized software anymore. In fact, let's call the Windows 7 Magnifier A.T.TIP 340. The student was issued a laptop with Windows 7 on it, and teachers provided copies of presentations or notes ahead of time so she could have them magnified on her screen at her desk. However, the point of an interactive whiteboard is just that. It's interactive. For some classes, following along with what was happening on the board meant she needed to continue to use the magnifying camera in order to see what the teacher was projecting in real time, as well as anything students would write on the board. This had us looking for a simple way to mirror what was projected on the board onto her computer. That's when we discovered ScreenLeap.com. ScreenLeap.com is a screen mirroring tool that is completely web-based and works to mirror what is happening on one computer to internet-capable devices. There's no installation required. Here's how it works. When you go to ScreenLeap.com, you'll see a big green button in the middle of the screen that says, Share your screen now. One of the beautiful things about this tool is that you don't even need to create a profile or register to use the tool. Just click on the green Share Your Screen Now button. When you do this, ScreenLeap will generate a unique URL you can give to users. It's always screenleap.com plus a 9-digit code. That code will be different every time you come to the site. If you click on the More Sharing Options link, you'll get an option to send that URL, the one with the 9-digit code at the end, to whoever needs it. In the case of our student, she goes to her teachers, asks them to go to screenleap.com, and then that teacher emails the link directly to the student. The student opens the link via Internet Explorer, which is the web browser she uses, and voila, she is seeing what is projected on the teacher's screen, including anything that is written directly on the interactive whiteboard. A window appears at the top of her browser that allows her to choose between two viewing options. She can either choose to view the mirror in actual size or have it fit to the screen. If you were going to use this with a student, you might explore both of those options to see which your student prefers. The screen will continue to be shared for as long as the teacher keeps the browser tab open. If the teacher closes the browser, then the mirror stops, so it's critical that the teacher keeps the internet browser open for as long as they're using the interactive whiteboard. Of course, this can be minimized so it runs in the background, but it needs to stay open. Also, a limitation of the site is that it only works for 2 hours using the free version. For this student, who is changing classes on a 90-minute block schedule, this hasn't been an issue, but that might be something you play around with if you need longer than 2 hours. I've tested ScreenLeap via an iPad, and it works great on that device too. Like I said, really any internet-capable device should work. And that's it. ScreenLeap.com, which I'm calling A.T.TIP 341, is a quick, easy way for students to see but not interact with what is being projected on the interactive whiteboard. Since trying it with this student, we've introduced it to other students with visual impairments, and reports are coming back from the teachers of the visually impaired that it is working for other students as well. Of course, I'm mentioning it in the context of using it with students with visual impairments, but really it could be used with any student who could benefit from seeing the interactive whiteboard from a remote location. Students who need special seating, have difficulties regulating behavior, or really anyone who has trouble accessing the board can use ScreenLeap to see what is happening at the board from a different location. Now, there is another feature that we aren't actually using but seems like it might work too. ScreenLeap.com has a free audio conferencing feature as well. On the same screen where the unique URL is generated, a telephone number is also generated along with an audio conferencing access code. It's under the audio conferencing features if you want to check it out. A teacher could call that number and enter the access code to set up the audio conference. From a remote location, a student could also call the same number and enter the access code. Then you'll be having a telephone conference. Like I said, we're not actually using this feature, but in theory, a student could see what is projected on the screen and hear what the teacher is saying from another room or even another location, like if a student was homebound or out sick for some reason. And so, you don't need to be a time-traveling scientist with an expertise in string theory to use this simple, easy screen mirroring tool. You don't have to worry about getting trapped in other people's bodies relying on a womanizing hologram to help you out. Nope, just go to screenleap.com and give it a try. Using screenleap.com, you too can do a lot of good.
Why did you create Project Quantum Leap, Sam?
To travel in time.
Why did you want to travel through time?
Because I wanted to...
To make the world a better place?
Of course, to make the world a better place.
To put right what once went wrong?
Yes. But not one life at a time.
Ah, I got Mother Teresa here. Do you really think that all you've done is change a few lives?
Basically, yes.
Well, at the risk of overinflating your ego, Sam, you've done more. The lives you've touched others. And those lives, others. You've done a lot of good, Sam Beckett. And you can do a lot more.
Hey all, just a few quick reminders before I sign off. I wanted to give a quick rundown of some of the ways you can connect with me in the show. Of course, you can check out the blog at A.T.TIPSCAST.com. There's also an A.T.TIPSCAST Facebook page at bit.ly/A.T.TIPSCASTFB. I'm also on Google Plus and LinkedIn if you'd like to connect there under my name, Chris Bouguet. Of course, I'm also on Twitter at A.T.TIPSCAST, and you can sign up to get an email notification of whenever a new show is added by going to bit.ly/A.T.TIPSCAST CyberEars. That's bit.ly/A.T.TIPSCAST CyberEars. And then when you go to that link, select Register as a Fan of the Show. Also, I wanted to remind you that AT to Go, the iPad app I authored to help people conduct consultations and evaluations, is for sale in the App Store, which you can access at bit.ly/AT to Go. That's bit.ly/AT to Go. And lastly, I wanted to remind you that my wife and I are presenting a free webinar for the Virginia Society for Technology and Education on April 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern called Can You Hear Me Now?, where we'll be talking about the many different ways you can use audio in the classroom and for professional development. It's free, and my wife will be there, and Visti webinars are always laid back, relaxed, and fun. You can learn more about it by going to bit.ly/Visti webinars, and on the day of the webinar, you can access the event by going to bit.ly/Visti webinar room. That's bit.ly/Visti webinar room. Until next time, may all your interventions be inclusive, may all your strategies be supportive, and may all your leaps be safe and sound.
Oh boy.